Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Admire Sandil Chao. The EFF has recently lost a court bid against the Afriforum. And I didn't see that, making rounds. But what happened is that in 2017, the EFF told the people to occupy land spaces. And the Afriforum took the EFF to court, and the EFF lost. And then they made an appeal until the case went to the Constitutional Court. And now, unfortunately, the case was dismissed with costs. The EFF had to pay Afriforum not less than 100,000 rand. So it means that it was, according to law, an incitement when the EFF told people to occupy the land. So the EFF currently is losing a lot of cases, and I don't think it's something which they are proud of. We know that the EFF has come to the people to say that they are going to use all the available processes to hold the current government to account and to make sure that they deal with any other lawlessness that is happening in South Africa. But when they lose cases, they don't come back to the people to speak about that. They only speak about victories and so on. And another question is, what does this mean? Because if they lose cases the way they have been doing, and we know that recently they have not been briefing a lot of black lawyers. They have moved to brief white lawyers. And ever since in the beginning of briefing white lawyers, they were proud that they are now winning cases. But I think they are losing cases more than by the time they were briefing Bo Talimpofu, Tembeka Ncakaitobi, and the other top black lawyers that we have in South Africa, because these are the lawyers who understand the issues that the EFF is fighting for. So losing a court bid to Afriforum, it's bad for the image of the EFF and the leader, Julius Malema. But other than that, we will wait for their statement or briefing on that or press release, where they will just tell us what is it that is going on in the EFF and why are they losing cases so dismal. Because we know that when the EFF goes to court, they go there to win. It is a culture which they, in the beginning, taught us, introduced to us. But it seems like that is no longer the case. They are losing a lot of cases. I think they've lost 5, if not 6 cases against Afriforum. And we will know that the popular case of Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer is back at court. And I don't know what's going to happen there, because what the CIC sang on the 29th of August is different from what he said in court that led to him winning that case. Because in court he said he was saying, kiss the Boer, kiss the farmer. And after winning that court case, when he went to celebrate his 10th anniversary of the EFF, he sang kill the Boer, kill the farmer. We also know that there is a song on their jazz album, the recent jazz album, where this song has lyrics of kill the Boer, kill the farmer, and not kiss the Boer, kiss the farmer. So they took the EFF to court, and I foresee a different outcome. But nonetheless, this is something that I think the EFF must look into, because the EFF taught people, or introduced people, or forced people, or pushed people, or inspired people to study. In the EFF is full of people with brains. But when we check the way they lost the application for appeal on the land occupation, which was deemed to be an incitement of some illegality, I had one of the quantity surveyors, if not an actuarial scientist, who attended the People's Manifesto consultative meeting with professionals, saying that there's a problem when people occupy the land illegally, because after some time, these people must have water taps, they must have electricity, they must have a sewer. So when they go and occupy the land that is vacant and make or build shacks or houses, It is difficult to build access roads. It is difficult to service or to render basic services for such people, because when they do that, they didn't do it through consultation. They just saw an idling land and occupied it. So he said that they must look into that when they draft their 2024 manifesto, which is a great thing. I mean, we cannot live in a South Africa where people just, when they see an open space, they must just go and build. It has to be structured. There have to be some consultations. Like, even if these things are not legal, but the EFF must at least have some sort of plan to tell their people that if you want to occupy the land, leave spaces for the sewer, leave spaces for water connections, leave spaces where roads will be built, leave spaces so that when you are connected through with electricity, it is easy to do that. And so that whenever the government must ascend to the people, descend to the people, they have to be accessible roads or some sort of way that shows that this place can be accessible and this place can be registered, given a name, and given basic services from government. But what the EFF encourages or encouraged people to do has led into people losing lives in rainy seasons. They are flooded away because there are no drainage systems, there are no sewer. People are found to be congested in smaller spaces. But when they occupy this land, the EFF encouraged that. I understand that politics is a game of numbers, and these political parties will do anything and everything to destabilize the status quo. And in doing so, they seem to forget that when they take power, they will have to fix all these problems that they are causing for themselves. And later they will be like the ANC that comes to us in the name of manifesto review, coming to us to blame the apartheid, coming to us to blame corruption and things like that. Corruption which was done by one of their own. So these are the things that when these politicians are still obsessed with the numbers, they get involved or they involve people into doing wrong things that will cause them problems in the future, that will strain the economy of the state, that will strain the services that are supposed to be shared amongst the people. Because when a hospital is built or is about to be built, they check the capacity or the population that will be surrounding the hospital, the number of people that the hospital has potential to service. And when now squatter camps, which were never foreseen, are built around such an area, it strains the services of such a hospital. And the budget will never be enough. So in Gauteng, we understand that people are in Gauteng for jobs, opportunities of business, schools, health, and things like that. But for example, Johannesburg has lost its quality because of these things of land occupations, because of building hijacking. So it's not easy to know how many people do you have, who are you servicing. So if a political party like the EFF encourages that, I think they need to reconsider this. And I'm glad that someone raised this issue, and they raised it from their area of specialization, knowledge, skills, capabilities, and experience. So at least the EFF is now open to such ideas, and I hope they entertain this one, because we can no longer continue to have people's houses depreciate of value because some people occupied the land close to where they stay. Because some of these areas have value because of the open spaces that exist. And if the EFF encourages people to go and occupy the land where there are spaces, and these people go in and occupy this land, and depreciate the value of the properties that people bought very expensive. Some other people, when they buy a house in Gauteng, in a suburb or things like that, they take it as an investment that when they retire, at least they will leave something for their children. But it seems like people are going to leave something which lacks value. Something which lacks value because it is found next to a shack. It is found next to populated and congested shacks that have no accessible roads, that have no sewer systems, that have no tap water. It has illegal connections, which are straining, the grid, because we are complaining about load shedding, and people are being ambushed. People who have not been paying for electricity are the ones who are supposed to account now. But the state knows some of the people who have illegally occupied the land, who have illegally connected electricity, and this electricity is not accounted for. And it is some of the problems that the EFF is continuing to cause to the state. Because when they say people must go and occupy the land and provide no plan for such occupation, it means that those people will need water, electricity, and they must make the means to connect electricity to that particular area. And this might include illegal connections and things like that. And when they do illegal connections, there's no way that they will pay for that electricity. It means that the electricity will not be accounted for. Those who are going to account, those who have these meters and those who are paying. So when each and every year the tariffs goes up, people are accounting for these illegal occupants who went to occupy the land because of the incitement by the EFF. And I think that is what the Constitutional Court is trying to educate the EFF, and it's trying to give the message to the people out there that these things of occupying the land, it's wrong, and it affects the state, and people who pay for that are those who never occupied the land illegally, are those who bought their houses, and those who are paying bonds and things like that. So when tariffs goes up, they want to cover the debt of that people have on ESCOM and the municipalities which are not paying back, electricity. And when those who are staying in houses that have electricity, proper electricity connections, see people coming to occupy spaces next to where they stay and they connect electricity illegally, these people are now somehow discouraged to continue to pay. They do the same things. They breach electricity, like what is happening, for example, in Soweto. Soweto is accused of not paying electricity. Most of townships, most of these areas are not paying electricity, and the state knows, and no one can touch Soweto until they solve the problems of illegal occupants who have breached electricity, who have connected electricity illegal. So these are some of the shortfalls or shortcomings of encouraging people to go and occupy open spaces. So the AFF has lost this case, and I think it should come as a lesson. They must look into that. And I'm happy that at least they opened for discussion, and people came in to talk to them about that, especially these people who are not paying for electricity, who even after occupying these spaces, they are not properly aligned, or they are not in a space where the state can go in and assist through creating accessible roads, through connecting them with water and electricity and things like that, because they are just scattered and congested and things like that. So it's something which I think the EFF must look into. They must look into, and they must understand that a lot of people's properties and houses have lost value because of these illegal occupation of the land. So it's a matter that needs to be looked at. And I think in their manifesto for 2024, they must come clear on this issue of land occupation. They must come clear and make sure that they amend their position or change their position to fit to a South Africa that will be or that is progressing. So building shacks in the city, the only things that it does is to make sure that that city goes down the drain and it loses its luxury. So everything just loses value because of this land occupation. And I think the state has neglected this issue of creating spaces for development, affordable houses. It's not there, because even government employees currently, majority of them, they don't afford houses. Those who go and buy houses find life very difficult. If you buy a house, you'll never buy a car for the next 20 years or until you successfully pay off the bond or you get a position or things like that. But in entry level, majority of government employees affords nothing. So this is something that the state need to fix. And I think it's going to help a lot of us, because people, as soon as they work, they have dreams, they want to buy houses, they want to have families, they want to have cars so that they can move around and things like that. But it's not the case in government. It's very difficult because of affordability and things like that. So if those who manage to buy houses at an expensive rate or cost, after 15 to 20 years, those houses will have lost value in terms of appreciating because of the shacks that are around their area. It's bad. And another thing is that government has been dragging or very slow in considering giving out land, like what chiefs and kings do in the villages. There is a time where they will put out a portion and encourage people to go and buy certain portions of land to build. But these things already, they have streets planned and things like that. Where will this house end? How many square meters will the stands be and things like that? I think government should do that in the cities or on the outskirts of the cities and things like that, because it's a problem when people come to occupy your backyard and there's nothing that you can do about it. They don't pay electricity, they don't pay any services. They go and dump their waste anywhere. And when they start doing that, waste is going to pile up. And when it's rainy seasons, they block everything and then there are floods. So the EFF must go back to the drawing board and check this issue of land occupation, because it is really a bad move and it is going to cause them problems, because as soon as they take power in 2024 or 2029, it means that they must provide services for the people in squatter camps, for the people who have occupied the land illegally through their call, because these claims to be their people. So this is something that the EFF has created, and it's something that the EFF must fix. They must fix it, and they must fix it now. In 2020, before 2024, when they come with their manifesto, when they launch their manifesto, they should have attended to this issue. Because if Constitutional Court does not agree with them, it means that it is illegal. It was never supposed to have been the case initially. This is Authentic Info Podcast. These are my views. The comment section is open. Let's engage the comment section. Please like, share, subscribe. Let us grow together. Thank you.